So I'm waiting for your signs. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but I need, yes,
Mhm.
but I need to minimize the screen after because I have the material in front of me, please.
Sure,
Okay.
sure, ma'am. I will be allowing you to share your screen. You can then share at your
No, no, not necessary to share, not necessary to share, but I need to read the material from my screen.
No problem, ma'am.
Okay, let me check.
Okay, so welcome all to Research Circle. I hope I am audible, and welcome to today's webinar. We have gathered here for this exclusive live session, and participants are joining us. So I hope the speakers of today are with us. So let's just quickly start it. So today we have gathered for this expert lecture on organizational behavior, and for this we have with us Ms. Rana Azedeline LG. She is affiliated as a professor, Leibniz University, France. His professional goal is to contribute to the knowledge management field through her work in a research with a particular interest in knowledge management. She is particularly interested in a digital leadership studies and innovation performance. She is interested in contributing to advancement of management research studies to cultivate personal contact among people by promoting through cultural exchanges, mutual understanding of the social foundation of each country, such as its language, costumes and cultures and traditions. So without wasting further time, I would like to invite uh, Dr. Rana. You can continue now.
Hi, how are you? Thank you very much, Research Circle, for inviting me to this session. Thank you for introducing me as well. My name is Rana Jisr. I am a professor at the Lebanese University. Also, I am an affiliated professor at the Grenoble École de Management and visiting professor at Leonardo da Vinci and Watson University as well. I'm going to talk in this session about organizational behavior. This topic actually is very important for researchers, for industry professionals, and for students as well. Why organizational behavior? OB is a field of study that investigates the impact that individuals, groups, and structure have on behavior within the company for the purpose of applying such knowledge toward improving the performance of the company. So in this session, we are going to demonstrate the importance of some interpersonal skills of managers, some roles, functions of manager and of management, to define the organizational behavior term, and to try to shed some light on some rules that apply to OB. Of course, this course is not a simple course. It is diversified course. There are several variables that we can work on, that we can study, that we can examine. But I chose for this webinar some important points to examine in order to have an idea about OB topic. So when we say interpersonal skills of managers or of leaders, leaders and managers need to have interpersonal skills, cognitive skills, technical skills, in order to communicate these skills with people inside the company and outside the company. Lower turnover leads to quality employees in the company, higher quality applications for recruitment, and at the end, better financial performance, which is the objective of every company in the workplace. So if I want to define the term OB, very simple words, I can say it's a field of study, as I previously mentioned, that investigates the impact of individuals, groups, and structure on behavior within the company for the purpose of applying such knowledge toward improving the performance and efficiency and effectiveness of any organization. OB deals mainly with human beings' behavior, human beings' attitude. As we all know, human beings are complex. So to understand them well, we need to examine and dig into their psychology. How do they think? How do they feel? What are the complexes? How to deal with other people, their colleagues, managers, leaders, and so on. So in general, we can say that organizational behavior deals with a lot of psychology, sociology, and anthropology. Okay, if I want to begin with psychology, what is psychology? It's the science that seeks to measure, explain, and sometimes change the behavior of humans and other animals. Researchers today are digging into psychology of human beings in order to understand their attitude and behavior in the company. If I want to move to social psychology, I can say that this science blends the concepts of psychology and sociology as well. Also, we know that companies are in different countries, in countries with different backgrounds, a different culture. So we need to understand the culture and environment of different people in these companies in order to understand their attitude, their behavior, to lead at the end, as previously mentioned, to the effectiveness, efficiency of the company. What about sociology? Sociologists study the social system in which individuals fill their roles. That is, sociology studies people in relation to their fellow human beings. While anthropology is the study of these societies to learn about human beings and their activities in the environment. There are a few absolutes that apply to OB or organizational behavior. There are simple and universal principles that explain organizational behavior. There are contingency variables, situational factors, elements, variables that moderate the relationship between independent and dependent variables. If I want to make myself clearer, I can say, for example, when we say that motivation, which is a very important concept in organizational behavior and one of the most important variables that are studied in OB, motivation has a very strong relationship with organizational performance or organizational effectiveness. Here we are dealing with a relationship with two variables. The dependent variable is the performance of the company, and motivation is the independent variable. I can talk about a lot of variables, hundreds, if not thousands of variables dealing with OB, organizational behavioral studies. Here I can stress on the importance of this topic, the importance of OB. Let us have an idea or shed light here upon the importance of OB. First, studying OB helps in responding to economic pressure. Economic pressure, especially today, the world is passing through a tough time. So effective management is considered as an excellent asset. Effective management that has a good idea about organizational behavior, how to deal with employees, how to deal with other managers, how to deal with competitors outside the company as well, and to go global as well, is considered as an important asset. In good times, understanding how to reward, how to satisfy and retain employees is at a premium. However, in bad times, issues like stress, decision-making, and coping come to the fore. So here, what we can say that we need, in this case, good leaders, good managers to understand OB very well. Also, I would like to identify other challenges and opportunities of some OB concepts. As I previously said, there are a lot, and I cannot talk about all of them in only one session. Let me highlight some of the very important variables today. First of all is responding to globalization. Companies today are in an open world, a world without boundaries. They have to deal with globalization. They have to deal with internationalization, to increase foreign assignments, probably to make collaboration with other companies, affiliation, joint venture, etc. To work with people from different cultures. And working with people from different cultures is not an easy task to do. Understanding the diversification of people from various countries is not something simple. Also here, OB is very important, and OB studies focus on these important issues. In talking about managing workforce diversity, this point acknowledges a workforce of women and men, of course, many racial and ethnic groups, individuals with a variety of physical or psychological abilities, people who differ in age and sexual orientation. Also, all these points, mentioned points and variables as well, identify the challenges and opportunities of OB concepts. Never to forget a very important challenge and opportunity of OB concepts, which is improving customer service. Today, the majority of employees in developed countries work in service jobs. We have a shift in the economy from working on products directly to the service sector. As you know, the service sector is the boom of the economy today. So we need employees to behave with customers, to satisfy them. And we need to understand the attitude of employees and their behavior because it has a very important impact on the satisfaction of the customers. We are working online. The market is buying, selling online. So here the service is highly requested, a good service that leads to satisfaction among customers. So improving people skills cannot take place without understanding the challenges and opportunities of OB concepts. People skills are important, are essential to the effectiveness of managers and the workforce as well. So OB provides the concepts, theories that allow managers, leaders to predict employee behavior in given situation. I cannot talk about OB without mentioning creativity and innovation. Stimulating innovation and change is one of the most important opportunities and concepts of organizational behavior study. Why? Because successful organizations must foster innovation and master the art of change. The market today is struggling for creativity. We have a lot of competition. The world is a market without barriers, without boundaries. It is a boundaryless market. It is like a small village. This is what I always tell my students in marketing. The world is like a small village, boundaryless. So we need to be creative, to be innovative in order to survive before talking about achieving competitive advantage, which is very important, of course, but we need to survive in the first level. Okay, creativity and innovation, it is the only way to achieve this target. So employees can be the impetus for innovation and change, or a major stumbling block. Managers and leaders must stimulate employees' creativity and tolerance for change. So companies, they have a lot of job to do, a lot of work to do with their employees in order to achieve this innovation and this creativity. What can they do? If we study OB, if we understand OB very well, we can know what might, how can we help in our employees in order to be creative. Let me just give one or two examples. Some companies, unfortunately, they are not they are unable to recognize the importance of being creative in the market. So they ignore rewarding their employees for any creative idea. And this rewarding can be psychological or physiological. Some rewards can be by money, maybe bonus, maybe extra money on their salaries, and it can be psychological, such as a promotion or simply a thank you word. Another important thing is tolerance for change. As a researcher, I've read and examined a lot of studies about tolerance for change. People simply, in general, they resisted change. And of course, older people resisted change more than young ones. And this is very normal, okay? So if we understand psychology, we know that this is normal. All people normally, they resisted change. They are used to their routine in life, routine in work. They like to stay in their safe zone and so on. But things cannot stay like this. Here is the role of a manager, of a leader, to stimulate these people to accept a change in order to simply stay in the company and achieve the task of the company. So coping also with temporariness is very important. What do we mean by this? We mean simply that organizations must be flexible and they must be fast in order to survive. They need to learn to cope with temporariness. Temporariness is flexibility, spontaneity, and unpredictability. So we go back to OB and OB studies. Here, OB provides help in understanding a work world of continual change, this uncertainty, this temporariness, how to overcome the resistance, how to create an organizational culture that thrives on change. So as I said, we have a lot of challenges and opportunities as well that are facing OB. Let me also mention a very important variable that I think is crucial in OB challenges and opportunities as well. It is working in network organizations. Network organizations are becoming more pronounced, more known and critical in the workforce as well. So managers' job is fundamentally different in network organizations. They have a lot of challenges of motivating and leading online that requires different techniques from the traditional way of communicating with other people inside and outside the company. So here, the word is ready for all types of networking. What we have to do as managers, as leaders, and also as employees is to move differently, is to use maybe different techniques in order to network with others. Helping employees to balance work-life conflict. The workforce is full of conflicts as a result of life. So, creating a global workforce means work no longer sleeps. This is a very interesting statement. Work no longer sleeps. Because of what? because of the boundaryless world, because of the boundaryless market, because of the world like a small village today, as I previously mentioned, and people are engaged with each other 24/24 hours. So communication technology has created this world, has provided a vehicle for working at any time or any place. And this is clearly obvious within this around 2 years after the pandemic, the COVID pandemic. Employees are working longer hours per week than they used to work before. The traditional way of work used to attend to the office in the morning and simply leave at a certain hour in the afternoon. This was work. Today, it is not the case. Even for us, by the way, even for us as professors at the university, there is no limited time for our work. There is calls from students, from other professors, anytime during the day. So, yes, it is a real challenge. And we need to understand this and to somehow accept it. Of course, to put some limit for it, but it is the case. So the lifestyles of families, all families have changed and creating a conflict in some places. I think that you agree with me. So balancing work and life demands now surpasses job security as an employee priority. So we can say, after mentioning all these variables, or these challenges and opportunities of OB concepts, we can say that creating a positive work environment is not an easy task. Organizations also have realized that creating a positive work environment can be a competitive advantage at the same time. Positive organizational scholarship or behavior studies know what is good about organizations. So OB, this field of study, focuses on employees' strength versus their limitations as employees share situations in which they perform at their personal best. What I would like to mention now and not to forget, because it's also a very important variable, I call them contingency variables studied and measured in OB, opportunities and challenges, is improving ethical behavior. I think that most of you agree with me about this point, ethical behavior. Ethical dilemmas are situations in which an individual is required to define right and wrong conduct. This is how we define ethical issues. But is it easy to define good ethical behavior? I don't think so. It is a difficult task to do because sometimes what's considered ethical in one company, in one country, might be unethical in another company or another country. So what we have to do, or organizations are trying to distribute codes of ethics to guide their employees through certain ethical dilemmas. Managers need to create an ethically healthy climate in their companies and to also motivate and reward their employees for an ethical behavior, any ethical behavior that takes place in the company. and punish those who commit any unethical behavior as well. Another variables of interest that are also very important in OB, as I began in the as I mentioned in the beginning of this session, the OB and OB studies is not easy. It's not easy to study or to measure or examine all variables of OB in one or two sessions. But I want to stress or emphasize on the important variables. I want to mention attitudes and stress. Employee attitudes are the evaluations employees make, ranging from positive attitude to negative attitude. Also, objects, people, or even events. What about stress? Of course, all of us pass through harsh time, tough time, very bad moments. Stress is an unpleasant psychological process that occurs in response to environmental pressures. Here, I want to add that online working, and not to add, maybe to confess, that online working has its own type of stress. Of course, it has its bright side, as anything in the world, and its dark side. The stress within online working, to me, I think, yes, it's very high level, especially when you have maybe some bad network, maybe you are not able to communicate well with your audience or a student, in my case, because I have a lot of students. If I want to give an example of any company working with their employees, the stress created maybe from the misunderstanding between the relationship of the both parties, all of this creates stress in the environment, and this is very unpleasant. So managers, leaders, also, this is another task for them to work on. The combination of effectiveness and efficiency at doing these core job tasks is a reflection of the level of task performance of the whole company. What about citizenship behavior? Also, it is considered a variable of interest in OB. A citizenship behavior, it is not part of an employee's formal job. No, it's not a job requirement. And that contributes to the psychological and social environment of the workplace. It is called citizenship behavior. When an employee is acting, is feeling that he is one citizen of this company, then we have a case of citizenship behavior. And it is not easy to happen, and it is not easy to create as well. So OB studies understanding organizational behavior well, understanding attitude and behavior of employees very well is so crucial in order to achieve citizenship behavior at the end of the day. And to avoid the withdrawal behavior. What is withdrawal behavior? Of course, it is the set of actions that employees take to just quit the job and leave for another company. When one employee receives an offer from another company for just a very small amount amount of salary, then this means, and he quits quickly to go to this company, this means that this company suffers from a serious problem because they don't have citizenship from their employees. So leaders and managers need to try to work on this variable of interest, in order to keep their talented employees, to keep their creative employees, in order to survive. And variable, as you have noticed, and there are a lot. This is OB. We have a lot of important variables, a lot of interesting variables to study. It is group cohesion, all people working in teams today, or all companies today working in teams. There is a shift also from working at the individual level to the team level. We don't have any more just working individual on a task. We have teams. We have people working together and the leader with them. Here, functioning of the group is very important to the quality and the quality of the group's work out at the end, for their productivity, for their survival. So OB, we can say that it examines variables on the individual level, on the group level, and the organizational level. These variables that I have mentioned today, some of them are related to the individual levels, where we have to measure and examine maybe the motivation, the satisfaction, emotions of people. On the group level, working on the structure of the teams, maybe their roles, their responsibilities, being cohesion. The organizational level, such as the effectiveness of the company, the human resource side, and so on. If I want to summarize and give you the floor for if you have questions from my audience, I would like to say that organizational behavior uses systematic study to improve predictions of behavior over intuition alone. But this intuition, of course, yes, it is gut feelings, but it is based on my understanding of OB studies, my experience with the people, understanding the psychology. If I want to go back to what I began already, psychology, sociology, anthropology of people, and the environment as well. Because people are different, they are diversified, we need to look at OB in a contingency framework, using several situational variables to explain the cause and effect of relationships and to understand them as well. So organizational behavior offers specific insights to improve people's, managers, leaders' skill. At the end, OB helps managers and leaders to see the value of workforce diversity and practices. They may need to be changed in different countries and to change all the time as well, because we are living in the world of uncertainty. Every day we have something new. You see, this pandemic, a lot of new variables arise within this pandemic that we have to examine, that we have to measure, to study. So OBI can improve the quality and employee productivity by showing managers how to empower their people, help employees to balance work-life conflicts, to cope with this uncertain world of temporariness, to learn how to stimulate creativity and innovation, as previously mentioned. Finally, OBE can guide managers and leaders in create an ethically healthy work climate. Now, I can say that this is what I'm going to speak for this session to talk about, and I will leave the floor for your questions. If anyone would like to ask, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. And if anyone has any question, the question window is open to all. Okay, so I suppose there isn't any questions. Uh, okay, so I guess that's it for today's session. This whole session will be available on our Research Circle YouTube channel. So if you guys want to watch it again, or if you want to share it, you can just go to YouTube, search Research Circle, and there you will find today's session. And if you have further queries, you can just write down in the comment, or you can just ask there, and we'll try to answer there. So thank you so much, all the participants who have joined via Research Circle app, via YouTube Live. And I would like to thank Dr. Rana to take out the time and deliver such a nice session. We hope in the coming days, another good session from ma'am. And thank you so much.
Thank you for this opportunity, Research Circle. I really appreciate it. Thank you very
our
much.
pleasure, ma'am. Our pleasure. Thank you
Have
so much.
Have a nice day. Thank you all of had attended this session.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Bye-bye.